Yeah, hey all. I just wanted to share something this morning about my wild girl here. I have been tethering her to the porch anytime I let the dogs into the yard here to play because I have been letting the chickens out to forage, and she has killed 3 or 4 of them over the last 4 years or so. And she just has had a real struggle with impulse control. And so, tried a couple different e-collars. One was kind of a little cheap version from the A to Z store. And it works well for the other dogs. But Nan just wasn't impressed. Or it wasn't fitted properly, because here's what I'm going to share with you today. This is the Dogtra. I think it's the 1900 or something like that. So there's 2 collars. It's a 2-collar system with 1 remote, and it has a claimed half-mile range. And so now there's no chickens in the picture, but we have been using this, and I have attempted to use it to deter her from being interested in the chickens so they can have more freedom and I don't lose them, obviously, to her. So she has a high prey drive. She will chase anything that moves, and she is still kind of looking for them, but if I was to compare her interest from just yesterday to today, there is a subtle change, and here's why. I put the collar on her just a couple minutes after letting the dogs out to be in the front yard for a bit, and I throw the ball for the boys. Nana loses interest in ball play so quickly, which is a real bummer because it's hard to find something that she can engage in to let off some steam. But anyhow, immediately upon getting her on the tether, of course, the chickens are coming over. They're curious about what I might have. And she's lunging repeatedly, even though every time issuing a correction on the flat collar, she doesn't care. It's not enough of an incentive to stop what she's doing. So I went up, I got the collar, I put it on her to what I thought was the sufficient tightness so that both probes were in contact. But the thing with this girl is she has a very long, straight neck. And the shape of the neck isn't, strictly round, as perhaps you know. And so what she would do is shake her head once the collar is placed. And because the weight of the receiver will change position when she does that. And in essence, what I've learned today is that both prongs were not in contact with her skin. And I thought I had it tight. But it was not the case. I put the collar on. She immediately was lunging at a chicken that was about 4 feet from the maximum of her reach on the tether. And she kept doing it. The whole while, I am attempting to correct her at a fairly high level on this system. If you're not familiar with the Dogtra, they have a real long range on the stim setting from like 1 to 127 or something like that. And I have just gotten real inconsistent results with her. I know that a 4 is very low level. They should feel it, but it shouldn't be enough to cause a real noticeable, twitch or uncomfortableness. Now, up to about 12 and 13, I definitely notice she shakes her head. She doesn't like that. She definitely feels it. And I've heard her yelp if it's up higher at like 25 to 30. But again, it's not consistent. So she shakes her head, and apparently that dislodges shifts the position of the receiver to effectively break contact with at least one of the probes, so there's no, the circuit isn't completed, hence she's not getting the stimulation. The vibration she could care less about. So anyhow, after seeing this, I readjusted the collar. I tightened it further up, right behind her head, where, it's the smallest point, and her musculature gets a little more solid, just down from behind the ears. Anyhow, so after that, it may seem, I don't know, put whatever judgment you want on it, but I need to create a scenario for her to make a mistake, is essentially. So I disconnected her tether from the porch, so that if, again, something is not working out with the stem, she's not feeling it, whatever, and she goes after one of them in this training exercise, I still have the long tether. I can step on it, I can grab a hold of it, and hopefully save my chicken. So I just started, kind of leisurely walking around, because the chicken that she had been lunging at when she was attached to the porch, I had successfully been able, she felt something. She turned her head a certain way and both probes contacted, and she felt something. It was around the maybe 20 range, and she shook her head and but she was still interested. She kept going back. She was actively moving towards where the chicken was, and it wasn't enough of a deterrent, and that was before I adjusted it. So after the adjustment, we dislodged our tether from the porch, and we just started walking towards where they were gathering. I'm walking towards where they're gathering. There's typically 2 clusters. One of them tends to go over to the old compost pile over there, while the rest kind of forage other places and maybe further out beyond the RV and stuff. Yeah, they like to hang out underneath of it too, sunbathe right along there. I'm sure that the vehicles have a radiant effect, and so they like to hang out there. So anyways, there she is, and here I am getting closer to the chickens, and any other day she would be racing past me. She's still not tethered to the porch, but she And she's looking at this guy over here. But what happened is I walked up towards here nonchalantly to get, like I'm going to get a shovel or something from where they are right here. And she took one step towards the chicken, and I administered a correction. I think it was about 30 on the dog tra. And she definitely felt it. She yelped, she jumped back, she came behind me, and she is now giving the chickens at least a 10-foot berth. If I walk up here and she's with me, she goes on the opposite side of the driveway and looks very, concerned in their direction, but she's not staring at them. She's not even following me at all. She doesn't even want to come out of the yard. It feels like a safe zone. Now, this was a single effective one. I've had these collars for more than a month, probably a couple months. And I have apparently not had it securely enough, tight enough, around her neck. The placement was not right. And so even going out into the woods, I was not getting any consistent result with recall. Yeah. And it was getting really frustrating. Because, just the other day we went out for a little woods walk, and as she does, she goes and scouts ahead and around, out of sight often, which I can do because of where I take them. However, it was getting dark, and I'm calling and I'm using the remote. I'm attempting to recall her in case she's out of earshot, signaling her, and nothing. It was a good 20 minutes before she finally showed up. In the meantime, I was walking back to the truck, almost to the truck already, with the other two dogs, and here she shows up. And that's just, it's really makes me feel anxious when she isn't responding, she isn't coming. So now I am looking at an entirely different dog after one effective correction of being hyper-focused on the chickens. She is it has shook her. Her whole world has just been shook. And she's still glancing over, keeping an eye on the fowl, but she is making no move to get any closer. And I'm curious to know if it's a prey thing that she's keep looking over, or it's more now she's distrustful of them, that if they come near her, if she is going to be feeling that sensation again, which of course she would prefer to avoid. Hello, Miss Buffy. Are you begging? It's pretty chilly out here, and I can tell because their feet are real. Well, I can tell because my hand is numb right now, but I'm also noticing their feet are real pink. So they're also feeling it. But yeah, anyways, aside from that, this girl, her entire excitement level has gone from about a 12 down to, well, I'm not seeing excitement here. Nana? Nana? Come here. Good girl. Good girl. Oh, good girl. Good girl. Good girl, Nana. That's my good girl. Yeah. She is keeping a close eye on those chickens. Those chickens, man. These unexpected. Yeah, these unexpected. What a good girl you are. What a very good girl. Oh, yes. Very good girl. Oh, my goodness. So, yeah, anyhow, that's my report. That's what I wanted to share. And I don't for a second think that this entire thing is going to be solved in a moment. She's already, well, she's looking for chicken poop. Nana, leave that. That's her favorite snack. And right there, I just gave her a buzz. Because she's still trying to eat the poop after I asked her not to. That's not a stim. That's just the vibration, which she is suddenly a little more sensitive to. Again, I think because of the placement of the collar. Now she is right beside me again. Good girl. Good girl. Let's get you unhooked. She's got her tether behind the tire. There we go. So, yeah. Let's just walk up this way. You can see all the chickens clustered. She has just moved over to my right-hand side. She does not want to be on the same side as those mean birds. She is very suspicious. She's looking over, but I think it's more that she doesn't trust them now. Okay, so we've come up here to the end of the driveway. Nana, heel. Now, typically, I heel her on the right. She is not on the right. She is suddenly on the left. Good girl. Good girl, Nana. You good girl. And there's those guys over there. And this little girl who has never heeled off leash. Oh, she thinks we're going in the truck. So we're not going in the truck, Nana. Come back over here. Good girl. So yeah, that's what I wanted to share my experience with a deterrent to a dog that is overly stimulated by your chicken flock, or probably just about anything. But it's hard to know. It's hard to know how extreme to go. And I thought that I had just missed every opportunity, and she had become too accustomed to the sensation or something. Yeah, I thought that I had the collar on tight enough. But right now, it is even, slipped down from where I had initially put it on. But where it's riding is apparently sufficient placement. It's to the side of the... Oh, it won't. I'm trying to zoom in for you, but I had a glove on. So now I have, at least for today, this girl who is in a calm surrender state. I've never seen this, especially not with chickens running around. Now, occasionally, now the real test would be is if I came out here with bread or scratch grains and threw them down where they flapped and ran. She's still surveying, but she's making the decision to turn her head away without any guidance. Anyhow, so that they would flap and make noise and so on. That might very well trigger something. So maybe we'll try that later. But I am blown away at the change. I mean, this is the girl that I get to spend time with indoors. So she definitely has, well, sometimes, not at feeding time. But yeah, if you've ever had a dog that was so high strung and seemingly impervious to correction, I'm sure you can relate to just the feeling of defeat and just, defeat. And just being sad for her that I couldn't snap her out of being in that hyper stimulated, hyper alert state. And this is just, it's a beautiful thing. So there's my big spiel. Watch as much or as little, or listen to as much or as little as you feel like.